Hey, aren't we all in the same English course?
Oh yeah, how's it going?
Not bad, except I sometimes have trouble with my grammar, isn't it? I mean, sometimes I perfect, but other times I don't, won't they?
See, I'm all right with my grandma. My problem is spelling. I can't spell to save my loaf.
Yeah?
Yeah. After relying on spell chalk on my computer.
Well, look at it this way. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't eat it too. You know what I'm saying?
No, not really.
Oh, I think that she sometimes has trouble mixing metaphors, aren't she?
Yeah. Sorry, you guys. I'm always crying over spilled chickens before they're hatched.
It's all right for you all. I've got a very small vocabulary.
What's that like?
It's all right for you all. I've got a very small vocabulary.
That's okay. I have problems with my emphasis.
Your emphasis?
Yes, my emphasis on different parts of the sentences. In my job, that can cause a lot of awkwardness.
What do you do?
I'm a speech therapist.
A peach therapist that can't spike properly. Surprised your boss hasn't sucked you.
It's all right for you all. I've got a very small vocabulary.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't you purchase a dictionary? You'll save yourself a lot of embarrassment.
I tell you what, why doesn't we all try studying together, isn't it? How doesn't next week sound, didn't we?
Great idea.
Fabulous.
Yeah, you give him an inch, it's worth two in the bush.
It's all right for you all. I've got...
Shut up, isn't it?
What is your approach to tackling pronunciation and accent in your class? First of all, it is important to understand what pronunciation and accent means. The dictionary refers to pronunciation as the way in which a sound, word, sentence, etc. is pronounced. On the other hand, we have the accent. Darwin and Munro affirm that when we talk about accents, we're talking about different ways of producing speech. Of course, everyone has an accent, and no accent, native or non-native, is inherently better than any other. For us, a good approach for tackling pronunciation and accents is listening to different references from native speakers and non-native speakers we have in our surroundings, as an example, that are good at pronunciation. They can help us to learn pronunciation and different kind of accents related to the regions they come from. In this sense, Darwin and Munro claim that when we use the word accent here, we refer to the ways in which their speech differs from that local variety of English and the impact of that difference on speaker and listeners. Accent has been blamed for all sorts of things. It has been seen as the cause of miscommunication, and it has been used as a cover-up for racism and other kinds of discrimination. Other things we would use to enhance pronunciation and help students to recognize different accents in listening to diverse genres of music and to watch movies that are produced in the different countries where they speak English, or even music and movies produced in English by people that has it as a second language. As an example, the movies filmed or songs recorded in English language by Bollywood in the India, or Russians, Germans, etc. Also, it is important to understand and believe that it is not indispensable to count with native people to learn better. Non-native speakers can also develop well competences on pronunciation, and if they perform well, they can be referred as good examples for students. Lippy Green, in his article, demonstrates some situations of discrimination against non-native speaker teachers that has led an increasing number of people to raise their voices against it. This can help us recognize that non-native speakers can be as good as natives and that people is noticing.
Many people think that accent and pronunciation goes by the same way, and we could put them all together. When we are exposed to listening exercises, or even oral, we usually focus for instances on how the speaker pronounces every single word, how the interlocutor increases or decreases the tone of his voice, and how fast and smooth he links words to each other. So we associate those aspects to the accent because we are not just conscious enough of the proper pronunciation of words. Indeed, there are some besides that have to do with accent, such as the tone of the voice, how fast we speak or how slow we speak, and most of all, what words we shorten and accent. Accent accounts for geographical, ideological, and historical aspects. It means it determines for when you're from, in which part of the country you were raised, other languages that mainly influence your environment and education, and fourth. Whereas pronunciation deals with phonetics, how actually sound the word. In spite of that, English by itself is not just one. There are countless of English or Englishes in a larger sense. It means we should not assert that English is just Britain or American. Within or without those, there coexist, inhabits many other kind of English. If we go to settings in our phone, next we customize the language, there should appear many options just for English, such as American, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Hong Kong, and forth. The same story happened with Spanish. If we want to compare, there are countless of Spanish, and by the way, in every single country there are types of Spanish because of the region, if we talk about Colombia for example. Regarding English and its derivatives, it is proper to become familiar with those subtle differences and contrasts that language allows us to identify.
Will you include lessons about accents in your curriculum? We will encourage students to learn about the multicultural differences through the language diversity. The language appropriation is not a singularity, belongs to native speakers. The mutations and stratification of the language are a complex of message, ideologies, and cultural proposals that make part of the beauty of the language. According to Darwin and Munro, argue the accents are just different ways of producing a speech, which means that they are referring to a geographical varieties. In this case, English. Being part of culture is represented through speech modes in which we create and express social identity. That includes aspects such as accent. A good speaker of determined language should understand and recognize the sense of the speech, looking out the context.
The following lesson plan is just an example of how we can integrate pronunciation to the English curriculum.